The 5 keys to memory. The first key to memory is motion or movement. Our eyes and brain are hardwired to respond to motion. We are not simply visual beings, we are beings who notice things that move. Make objects move in your imagination to recall them better. More of your brain comes into play when you create action through motion. The second key to memory is association. Associate the new item with something you already know. Make a creative link between what you previously knew and the new knowledge. Let's look at an example. Let's say that you know something about the planet Venus. You know that it's covered by clouds. Now you're going to learn what they're made of. Those clouds are 96% carbon dioxide and 4% nitrogen. Let's associate that with clouds. Let's start with the clouds, then see ourselves driving our car on the clouds while we're eating a bun. That makes carbon or carbon. We open the door and start to die. Carbon die. That should be enough to know it's carbon dioxide. You don't need the entire term, just enough of a trigger to let you know it's carbon dioxide in this case. If we borrow a tool from our number memory program, we know that 96 is represented by the word pig. To recall that number, 96, we would imagine a pig sitting next to us in the car, or doing something else with the car. For nitrogen, we could drive around the planet Venus to where it's night, and then we have to row with oars. Nitro should be enough to recall nitrogen. If we want to recall the 4%, 4 is represented by the word fire. The oars could catch fire. To make this association permanent, repeat it using spaced repetition. The third key to memory is repetition. The more we repeat something, the more likely we are to remember it. Do you remember 5 times 5? How about 7 times 7? Of course you do. You can't even keep the answers out of your head. Try to not think of the answer to this one. Ready? 4 times 4. Oops, there it is. These facts are so deeply ingrained by repetition that you'll always remember them. But how about something like 17 times 17? Probably nothing comes to mind even though it was on the chart. This is because there was not enough repetition in that case. We see then that multiple exposures to information leads toward permanent recall. The same thing is true when we read. The more times we see a message, the more likely we are to recall it. The fourth key to memory is imagination. Albert Einstein said, "Imagination is more important than knowledge." If you really want to remember things, you have to engage your brain with your imagination. Words are simply sounds. These sounds only have meaning because we all agree to their meaning. The word boat could just as easily mean fence if we wished. The things that transcend words are pictures. When we use pictures, we use our imagination more. No matter what you call a baby, we all know what one looks like, and most of us react the same way upon seeing one. The image is universally recognized. When we see a cute baby, we react emotionally first, then the words come to us. You can enhance memory by exaggerating something, or by making it very silly. For example, if you need to recall a catfish, vividly see one swimming around the room with you. Now make it 6 feet long. Now make it say meow very loudly as it swims through the air. Physically grab hold of its tail and hold on as it struggles to free itself. If you act this out, have it turn its head and hiss at you. Now you'll remember catfish. Say out loud, "Wow, can this fish struggle?" The fifth key to memory is emotion. We tend to remember that which we have reacted to with high levels of emotion. Take a minute and recall your most vivid memories. You will find that there is some emotional reaction when you recall them. The emotion serves to seal in the memory. You will use this to your advantage by getting emotionally excited about specific things you wish to learn. Even if you are acting, your brain can't tell the difference. Your body will react as if the emotions are real. Aristotle knew this. When he came to a critically important fact he wished a student to remember, he would slap them across their face. You can believe they would remember. Rest assured, there are more reasonable methods of eliciting emotions. Today, of course, Aristotle would be facing a lawsuit so fast you could be sure he would remember that day. Mental shouting. See yourself standing on a table, somewhere where you're supposed to be quiet, like a fancy restaurant or a religious service, something like that, a library. And then whatever the fact is you want to remember, imagine yourself shouting it as loudly as you can. If it really happened, then the emotion of that would seal in the memory. This is good to use if you need to remember something, say, for an hour or two. To sum up the 5 keys to memory, if you experience movement, associate that with what you want to recall, repeat the process in some imaginative way with emotion, you'll have no choice but to remember it. So we use Marie, M-A-R-I-E, movement and association, repeated, imagined with emotion. Your memory is triggered by emotions, movement, and imagination, connected to associations if they exist. Memories are made permanent through repetition or very strong emotion. Now hear this. The more emotions, movement, and imagination you use, the less repetition you need. Especially when you use emotion. Emotion really seals in a memory. Look at your earliest life memories. They almost always have strong emotion attached to them. That's not a coincidence. This is how your brain works. Use it. And most of all, have fun when you use it.